Hello everyone, welcome back to Accounting 210. In this video, we talk about last part of the NPV, the concept, and then we will practice some questions together. Last time we talked about how do we use NPV to compare two projects, and then in that case, in that example, we said that there is no residual, right? There is no residual for the project. Now, in this video, we talk about one small different situation is at the end of the project, you will have the residual. You will have the residual. What's the meaning? Okay, so if there is no residual, let's say when you put in the smartphone, right? So you first put $1 million, then every year you generate the cash inflow. And that's how at the end of the 5 year, the 5th year, you cannot sell, like if you bought equipment, if you bought land, you cannot sell, there is no residual, there is no value for those land or equipment. But in the reality, most likely, when you invest in a project, it generates cash inflow for you every year. And then most likely at the end of the project, you can sell the equipment, you can sell the building, you can sell the land, and then you can get extra money actually at the end of the project. So that's the residual. So let's look at this example. We still use the smartphone. We still use the same number. The only difference is at the end of the 5th year, you can sell the building, you can sell the equipment, and get 100,000 back as the residual. So how do we do this? I still draw a timeline, and then we can compare the difference. So t equals to 0, and then t equals to 1, t equals to 2, t equals to 2, t equals to 3, t equals to 4, t equals to 5, right? And then we said for the smartphone, 305,450 every year. 305,450, 305,450, 305,450, 305,450, 305,450. And then at the beginning of the project, you still invested $1 million outflow. Then we said without residual, you just discount this. We said you can use the annuity, get the discounted cash flow. But here, at the end of the project, in the 5th year, you can sell the equipment, okay, and get 100,000. You can get 100,000 cash inflow. The only difference is now you can't have two cash flows. The first group of cash flow is still this, right? It's still this annuity. 305,450. And at the end of the project, remember no residual, it's just a no residual. With the residual, you have an extra 100,000 cash inflow. So you just discount this extra cash inflow back to present. Okay, hear me. You kind of have two sets of cash inflows. The first set is still the 305,450 times the discount factor. We said time the discount factor 3.433. You get the present value of this set of the future cash flow is this much. Okay, you already got this number. I don't want to repeat. You already got this number. And then you need to discount the second set of the cash flow only one time. At the end of the 5th year, you get one time of 100,000. You get one time of 100,000. So your cash flow is 100,000. You have one time. So we use table A. R is 14%, 5 years at the end of the 5th year. So discount factor is 0.519, okay? 0.519. So for this set of the cash flow, your present value will be 51,900. So your total present value of the two sets of the cash flow will be 1,105.10, $1,100,510. One more time, are we done? You should tell me no. This is just the present value. Present value of two sets of the cash flow. We still have the outflow at the beginning of 1 million outflow. So your NPV will be 100,510. 100,510. So if this is the case, our smartphone NPV is 100,510. The speaker is 78,910. So now we should invest in the smartphone. Okay, so the only new thing is you have the residual. You have the residual. So you have to discount this 100,000. You have to discount this 100,000 as a separate set of the cash flow and get the present value. And then you add those two, you get the total present value of future cash flow. You add your cash outflow, you get your NPV. You cannot just say, oh, I got this and then I add 100,000. That's not right. You have to discount all the future value to the present and then you add them together to get the net present value. Okay, okay, so I'm done with the lecture of the NPV. I know it's kind of a lot of things, so let's practice some questions. Hopefully you will feel better. I'll see you next time and then we do some exercise together.